Hi, it's Ra, Rishi Kavi Raghudas from Star Presence Astrology, here to give the astrological forecast for Monday, August 25th, 2025. It's a complicated day, but ultimately a good one, and we're dressed accordingly here. The sun today is at 2, moving to 3 degrees of practical and service-oriented and hyper-organized Earth sign Virgo. We've got green shirt on here today for Virgo. And the moon today changes signs. It moves from the latter degrees of Virgo into the love, beauty, and social justice-oriented air sign of Libra. So we've got the blue velvet here on for Libra, nice and aesthetic, as is appropriate because Venus rules Libra. Speaking of Venus, Venus also changes signs today. It moves from 29 degrees of water sign Cancer into, you guessed it, the 0 degrees of grand and glorious fire sign Leo, always in the gold when a planet is in Leo. So we're particularly colorful today. And so with 2 planets changing signs, this is what I call a chameleon day, where more than one planet changes signs within 24 hours. And relatively, it is a positive day with some caveats. We begin with the sun, as I said, at 2 to 3 degrees of Virgo, and then the moon changes signs early in the day, but before it does, it makes a harmonious sextile 60-degree angle from 29 degrees of Virgo to Venus, the planet of love and affection, which is also about to change signs at 29 degrees of Cancer. That is nice and sweet and lovely. 6:53 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time is when that occurs. 9:53 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time is when it's exact. 2:53 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. And then just a few minutes later, the moon does move into Libra, 7:08 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 10:08 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and 3:08 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. When moon is in Libra, we just want to be social, have beauty around us, relate in a harmonious way. It's generally a good time for relationships, although today's a little complicated. But it is just one of those days to appreciate life around you. And because it's ruled by Venus, sweets are appropriate too. But the first thing that the moon does makes an opposition from 0 degrees of Libra to Saturn, the planet of discipline and structure, at 0 degrees of Aries. It's about to move back into Pisces before the week is out. So it's retrograde, and this is not a lot of fun. 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time precisely is when that occurs. 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time and 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Then Venus does move into Leo at 9:27 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 12:27 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and 5:27 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So the whole atmosphere changes into a much more self-expressive and maybe even a little grandiose kind of energy. This is highly romantic, so it's a good week for love and romance. The moon makes a harmonious trine after this to Uranus, which is the planet of upsets and sudden change, but this is a good angle. 9:52 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 12:52 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and 5:52 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So kind of expect the unexpected in a positive way. Shortly after that, the moon makes an opposition to Neptune, which is sitting at 1 degree of Aries conjoined to Saturn, and this is Fog City. I don't know what's happening. Remember that positive thing that just happened a minute ago? I'm not sure what to make of it. 10:04 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 1:04 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and 6:04 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Shortly after that, the moon makes a harmonious flowing trine from 2 degrees of Libra to Pluto, the Lord of Power, sometimes dark power, sitting at 2 degrees of Aquarius. And remember, it's retrograde as well. But this is generally a good aspect for self-empowerment and for doing research. 10:48 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 1:48 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and 6:48 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Then we go a few hours without another aspect, hallelujah, before Venus, the planet of love and affection, at 0 degrees now of Leo, makes a harmonious flowing trine to Saturn at 0 degrees of Aries, and this is actually good for stabilizing your love life, and it's good for money issues as well. We like this. This is like make the commitment kind of energy. 5:56 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 8:56 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and 1:56 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. You got all that? Complicated day? Turns out positively in the end. I'm Ra, Rishi Kavi Raghudas from Star Presence Astrology. If you would like to have a personal reading with me, you can book it on my website, starpresence.net. Remember, from the very moment that you're born, you've got star presence, particularly today. Enjoy this day, no matter what.